Well, I'll let everyone get their breath back first of all. Just a reminder who's on the call then. Laura, director, co-writer, actress. Christopher, cinematographer, co-writer, co-producer as well, I believe. Um, and is Josh on the call? He is.
I am. You hear me?
Yeah. And Josh, actor, you may recognize. So I'm going to say, I mean, I'm going to just quickly talk to Laura because I know when she has to sit through this, having endured the making of it and everything else. How are you feeling, Laura?
I actually feel a little bit sick. Um, I did warn you, it's not an enjoyable watch. I
Yeah.
mean, it is in the fact that I get to watch like some amazing actors do amazing things, and like me and Chris worked really hard on that, and I think it looks amazing and it does exactly what we want it to do. But it's a lot, it's a lot, and I think knowing that other people are watching it at the same time. Yeah. But yes, I will recover from that, and we
You'll be
shall.
okay. You'll be okay. Um, I'm going to open a. I've obviously I have always have 100 questions, even though I have spoken to you before. But I mean, I'm going to open up to anyone on the call who would like to ask any questions to Josh, Christopher, or Laura. Um, is there anyone in particular who would like to raise their hand or unmute and ask a question? We're all very shy, I think.
Everybody's like, I've seen enough.
I think we're all just having a drink and while they're thinking about it. Josh, I'll ask you a question. Nice to meet you. Um,
I will
I
say that
suppose.
my little girl's watching a film in next door, so if she shouts at me, I might play. Not this film, obviously.
Yeah, considering
Yeah,
the type of film we've just watched, to see the balloons behind you, it's a little bit
yeah,
contrasting.
yeah.
Can you talk? I mean, that's the first question, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Um, so the role you played, obviously, can we call it the villain? You know, as an actor, I know you've known Laura a while, but just tell us what that was like and how you worked with Laura pre-shooting to make sure you got that right.
Yeah, well, firstly, like when Laura kind of pitched me the idea, it was a story that I just thought really needed to be told. I like I what is it, like 1 in 4 women have gone through something like this or something similar to this, and I personally know a friend of my wife has gone through this at a public event.
Mm.
So it was one of those things that I thought, regardless of who I'm playing, I really need this story to be told. But yeah, me and Laura, how long have we known each other, Laura? Like 2 years now. But then it was like, well, yeah, wasn't it? And we work really well together. And I trust her 100%. I assume she trusts me 100%. And so we just, yeah, we knew it was something that we wanted to tell kind of together.
Mm, absolutely. Um, so I mean, Laura, I'll come to Laura and Christopher. And you've discussed this previously. With an interview that we did will be published shortly. But just tell us about the collaboration. Just basically like where that, like, if you could call it a story, came from between you both. Is Christopher? You want to go first?
Yeah, well, the story itself was based most of it word for word off of a conversation I'd had with some friends at a party. It was a friend I was talking to who couldn't understand why women would be scared of him. And he just wasn't getting it that if they don't know him or even if they do know him, you don't know what can and can't happen. So I wrote that story and um, sent Laura a screenshot of the title page and then had her come around to my house to read it so I could gauge her reaction. And yeah, and then asked her to direct it and yeah, and then she took over, wrote a few more bits and pieces, and yeah, Laura, your turn.
Yeah, so me and Chris work quite a lot together anyway, and I think I remember he was like, no, no, I want to see your reaction when you read it. So I went to his house and read it, and I was like, you need to let me direct this. You need to. And I think that the initial story itself is like it come on its own. Just that conversation I feel was important, but I kind of like we had a load of discussions about how important it is to like highlight the fact that this is like this is the norm. Stuff like this is the norm. If you look at the amount of sexual assault on women that just slip through the net, there's only, and I think one of the characters says it in the actual film as well, that it's less than it's less than 2%, and actually now it's less than 1% that gets that goes to court and gets a conviction, and that's only if the ones that were actually reported. We have such a stigma about reporting these things, and then there's a lot of these questions raised on, well, what was she wearing? And it's always, placing the onus on the victim to prove that it happened rather than somebody else proving it didn't happen. Um, and so that's why I felt like we needed to sort of expand on that story and include women in that as well. Because yes, I'm a women's rights activist, and I will always advocate for women, but sometimes we don't get it right either, and we're all lifelong learners, and I think we just need to sort of build that conversation and shine and lift a mirror up to people to go, these are conversations that we're all having. Which one are you? And is it appropriate to think like that? And is there a way that you could think in a different way, or maybe try and empathize a bit more with what other people have gone through? And the last section was something that we spent such a long time on. We weren't sure. We're like, does it need to be in? Does it not? And ultimately, we decided, yes, it needs to be in, because otherwise, we're just leaving this nuanced conversation that doesn't really have any answers. And is that the message we want? That just to say these conversations happen? Or do we want to say these conversations happen, but actually they're irrelevant because this happens and this is what we need to be stopping, and we need to accept that it happens. And I think we really wanted to just give people a vehicle to have a starting point for those conversations amongst their friends. And it is aimed at people who will talk to their friends about it. We're not trying to say go and speak to a rapist and tell him why he's wrong. It's challenging your friends early on, and calling them out on behaviors that aren't appropriate before we get to a point that you saw in the film.
Crazy. I think we've got a shy audience. I think you've cocked them. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though. I think I was nervous watching it, having seen it, having spoke to already, knowing what it was about. Oh, we do have a question. Hang on. Let's have a look. Oh, Bella. Um, I'll read it out. Bella wants to say, just wanted to say that I found the film really effective and powerful. Discussions between both men and women are really nuanced, including the discussion between the women about how normalized this behavior is. Really important. Yeah, and I'm gonna second that, because watching it, this is the third time I've watched it, and I noticed the dialogue. You almost ticked a lot of the boxes of all the possible dynamics that we can have. Do you know what I mean? Like, and,
Yeah,
and, and you nod and you think, oh yeah, yeah, you nod, and we've all been those people. We've all had those opinions at one time or another,
yeah,
even in the same day. Or whoever it's who you talk to, but yeah, it shines a light on, like I mentioned before. Like, it made me feel a bit sorry to be a man, because between the four of them, they couldn't come up with one thing. And I think the guy with a beard, which I believe is Christopher, is Christopher's embodiment, as so. But he was the more moral of the foot. But even he was saying some things that were a bit, But I particularly like the you don't walking at night, you don't panic if you're a man and cross the road when you see a bad woman.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that that's so obvious, but it does make you sort of think. And then there's one, I can't remember the girl's name, the red hair. She says about how are we supposed to, you know, defend it when we can't even define it. There's
yeah,
so much stuff in here where you're just constantly second guessing. So
yeah. Yeah,
credit
that
to,
was Helen, and she's actually on the call tonight, Helen, and
oh,
she did that absolutely brilliantly. Like, she got some of the strongest lines in the film, I think, and she did a great job with them. And
there
she
she is.
wasn't the most likable character either. Sorry, Helen. She's a sweetheart in real life, but she said some problematic things in the script as well, and she had some great lines. And yeah, she was fantastic. They all were.
Mhm. Well, I'm going to ask Helen a question if she don't mind. But does she want to? Or
She's
I
in
don't.
1 minute. I
Okay.
think she's gonna put her microphone.
Microphone is quite
Yeah,
connected.
yeah.
Hi there. Well played. Well played.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
think I think all the characters had a little bit of bad and good in them. And your character, until she revealed something about herself, was perhaps seen as she was talking like the men you would argue. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to take a risk. But she had that redeeming storyline, that backstory. How did you feel reading the script? And was it a difficult shoot?
Um, so I remember actually speaking to Laura about this, and I've brought this up with her a number of times. We discussed it before, so she hadn't sent me the script yet, but she told me I was going to be in it, and yeah, she was telling me about it, and she said, "Oh yeah, there's one of the girls is going to be like, oh well, you know, we weren't here, we don't know what's happened, we can't say for certain." And I was like, "Oh, that's not me, is it? That like that better not be me." And she was like, "No, don't worry, that's not you. That's don't you worry." Got the script 2 days later, and I was like, "Laura, Laura, I think you've made a
I've noticed
mistake."
Laura's muted. I've noticed.
Mhm. Um, so yeah, I was a bit like, oh, why have I been given this character? Um, so yeah, it was kind of difficult being that character because you don't want to be that person being like, well, we don't know what's happened,
Yeah.
you know. And if that was one of my friends, that's not what I would say. I wouldn't be like, oh well, you know, we should, you know, that's I would believe them, you know. So yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
that just
we have
proves
one.
how much of an
Sorry, go on.
amazing actress you are because it's not who you are at all, but I trust you implicitly with it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And Laura must have known that when she deceived you initially with the script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't tell her yet. I'll wait until it's all cast and then she can read the script. Yeah, I mean, sorry, no, we are going to do this again later, but I mean, I'm not sorry because it's a really powerful film. It's definitely a film for an audience, you know. So I'm going to congratulate you again for the 100th time, but everyone else was on the call, was involved, you know, well played. Really important story, and really like you really like stretched it out that 30 minutes, and nice photography as well, Christopher. You know, there's three sections that have shot very differently. Four if you say the opening. But yeah, I mean, I advise everyone on the call who's not part of the film to just share on social media, not just about the festival, just say you've seen it and give your thoughts, and I'm sure these guys will appreciate it. Um, you know, and I will cut it short, but thank you again, and we will return, I believe, in about 4 hours. So get your
Yeah, I'm gonna have
coffee
a
and
nap before
have your
then.
yeah, have a nap, have some coffee, have your dinner, whatever it takes. But yeah, just I can't thank you enough. You've made it real uplifting for us this festival. But no, you've got us talking.
You are
You've got us
welcome.
talking, and you know that these stories. It's been a heavy day. It's going to be 9 more heavy days, but this is why I do it. It's great. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, team,
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
and we'll speak again later.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye.
Hey.
Hello again, Laura. Not seen you for ages.
In a couple of hours.
Not seen you for Christopher for ages. Just going to give it a minute or so. Hi, Josh. Not seen you for ages.
Hey, all right.
Just give it a minute for a few other people, but we've got a good crowd again. A good crowd in the last one, Laura, to be honest, because it's been a little not quiet, but we don't want too many, obviously. But we've sort of capped it around 8 to 10 people, and yours is just so it's good. It's good.
Yay. Good.
Especially given we're approaching midnight, so
Yeah, I know. I'll be a bit
yeah.
quieter this time because my kids are in bed.
No, that's fair enough. I do appreciate it. I mean, the second lot of screenings was for you and for everyone, but we're trying to cater to perhaps people at the other side of the world. But you know,
Mm,
it's nice when the UK lot can still show up. It's lovely.
yeah.
just for everyone on the call, lady I'm speaking to is Laura, this is the director, and she's in the film and co-writer, producer. Christopher, cinematographer, co-producer, co-writer, also, and Josh is, I would argue, is the lead actor in this. One of the lead actors. There's about 10,
The
I think,
villain,
cast of 10. Yeah, well, no spoilers.
not the villain.
There's 10 villains in this film. No, I'm only kidding. But yeah, so they're all part of this, and you'll see their work shortly. And then we've just got a few other people, some people that work for the site, we've got colleagues, friends. Guillermo from Tunisia who's been helping me with the registrations. I've told her I'm going to big her up on every single call. Um, yeah, so yeah, that's quite a film. Obviously, I'm going to ask Laura if she's okay. And once again, it's a little bit later. She's probably a little bit more tired. Um,
Yeah,
how many
I'm
times
all
did you put me
good.
through this?
To be fair, if I didn't want to be put through it, I wouldn't have made it. So it's
No,
like
you're
I have to
absolutely
do
right.
all that. It's yeah, it's not an easy watch, is it?
Um, so obviously, if anyone's got any questions, get them in the chat or shout out. But while we do that, I'm going to just ask a couple of my own. The more technical ones as well, really, because the script, obviously, those lines, the more I've watched this film, and it must be about the fourth or fifth time I've watched it, the more I watch it, those lines were a bit like vinegar, aren't they? They were very sharp. And did you feel that those lines, when the actors read them, did they question the lines at any point? And also, do you feel it fueled their performance, like it helped them get more riled up? For
I
either you
mean,
or Christopher, that, I suppose.
I think when we did the initial read through, especially with the lads, um, there was a lot of conversation because I think a lot of them didn't like understand the like where a certain character's
Yeah.
perception of it all was coming from, or what
Yeah.
they were. I think because all the guys we worked with were really nice guys and probably wouldn't, and they kind of get it. We're
Mm.
just trying to understand that background. So it was really incumbent upon Chris to kind of talk them through what he meant by them all and who, because obviously this is all based on real events. So Chris had a much better understanding of these types of people, and I think we all like to think that we're nice people and that we get everything, but we don't. So there was a lot of conversation around, well, why have I said this and what does it mean and where's it coming from and why do I think that
Yeah.
and yeah, it did take a while to sort of get everybody on the same page, I think. Um yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't very straightforward, which is good because you kind of want you want guys who understand and who just know all the right things to say on your sets.
there was a few conversations during that first read through. No, this was actually said by someone. This was actually a conversation that I've had. It's not made up. It's there are people out there who just don't get it, and yeah, it was trying to get that across to people who do get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's a similar actor question, but for Josh, who perhaps the lines, apart from the end scene, didn't really apply to him as much. But I mean, what was Laura's direction to you, Josh, to play that kind of that drunken villain role where you didn't really have a lot of dialogue, but it was clear that what you were up to. What were your instructions?
Yeah, it was just so we kind of did the party scene. Thing, he obviously what Alex does is a horrible thing. He is essentially the villain of the piece, but
Mm,
you never want to play a villain. You know what I mean? You never want to. You don't want to just play the because no one thinks they're the villain of the piece. No one he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong necessarily. He's just drunk and he thinks he's in with a chance there, and he goes up and does this awful act, and we kind of just played it like that. But yeah, the way we obviously on the day when we shot it, we tried to keep it obviously it's a horrible thing, and we try to keep it as light-hearted as we possibly could, just to keep everyone at ease. Yeah, but it was quite a difficult shoot.
I do remember a couple of times when I was walking around with the camera whispering just creepy, more creepy.
Mm. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There was a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on the call, Josh, because I can show everybody. Look, he's a nice bloke. It was just
Yeah.
acting, but sadly, people like that don't exist, don't they? And I think that's why Laura, obviously, that's why this is so important. You've got some good comments there as well. You've got some very high praise, everybody there. Bravo, one and all, incredible piece, great performances. Laura, you're amazing as always. Josh, yeah, look at that. That's from Holly. Bravo, one and all, yeah. We've got a very poignant film. Thank you. So you got some really nice praise there. You did get a round of applause at the end, as you saw there. So it's like a virtual standing ovation, I suppose.
Thank you.
And if anyone doesn't have any more questions, I've got one more, which is the party scenes. Now, this is really interesting because as they're talking, you cut back to the party scenes, and it's like this is examples of it. I suppose when you're in a conversation, you relive it in your head, don't you? So that's maybe was that what you were doing there? And was that originally in the script to just put the silent party scenes, like mini flashbacks, to go alongside what they were talking about, especially with the men?
That's a Laura question.
It
Um,
was a lot of questions.
yes, it was on purpose. It was intentional. Um, I wanted to, and I noticed that somebody's popped in the chat as well, what made us decide to do it in like three parts rather than weave it all
Yeah,
together. I
yeah,
didn't want the conversations to get diluted. I really wanted the conversations to be singular so that you could see what all the men were saying and what all the women were saying. And not like, because if we edited them together, I feel like you could have had sort of Helen's character and Charles's character kind of they're one team and then these are another
yeah,
team. And I didn't want that. I wanted it to be very clear that these are the conversations we've heard men having and these are the conversations we've had women having. And yeah, they do overlap a lot of times. A lot of the times because I feel like the patriarchy does tell us what we're supposed to think, and that includes men as well.
yeah,
So the narratives do weave between us. And the reason for the flashbacks and things is just because number one, entertainment purposes, like four men sitting in a room, as much as they're all great to look at, not that interesting if it's a long piece, but also just like to nod back. And I think if you watch it really closely, there's a few nuances in there. So when they're talking about Alex, the flashbacks are of Alex being a bit
yeah,
creepy,
definitely.
like
Yeah,
giving her like weird looks. But then there's a lovely long quiet bit where actually she's the one who's putting her arms around him and stuff. And
yeah,
that just feeds into what one of the guys is saying, like, well, she was after him as well. And it's how you could perceive things in a different way as well.
yeah.
So that was absolutely done intentionally. I think it worked. I hope it
Yeah, I
did.
think so. Yeah, because even there's one bit where he says about the dress, and you almost like, as he's telling that, you see Alex saying it.
Actually saying it, yeah.
And that's like in sync with you think, and as you're talking about an instant, you usually have that instant in your head.
Mm.
Louise is asking how to set up some props during the men's and women's conversations, indicative of any symbolism or allegory to the people's individual perspectives. So she's probably reading too much into that, but she spotted a Jaws poster and a Billy Connolly poster.
That is literally my house.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's
So we're on
To
set.
be fair, no,
oh, sorry.
we did have
Yeah, also
on the
Helen's
back
our prop
wall.
designer as well,
Yeah,
so
Oh,
it's really
hello, Helen.
handy to have her
yeah. So
there.
yeah, we did put some different pictures up. So we had on this back wall we ended up with images that were indicative, like sort of poker and like kind of like a little bit Western, and
Yeah.
so you had that front room feeling a little bit like whiskey glass, which came from
Yes.
Laura. So it was like, yeah, thinking about them real men conversations and um I'm trying
No,
to
that's
think
good.
of what we did with the upstairs, Laura. I can't remember,
We
but
had we had it was quite plain, but we'd littered it with sort of pretty things like
it
little
was
roses
pretty,
and
wasn't it? It was a little
petals
bit more
and
a little bit
yeah.
more romantic.
It was a lot softer.
Yeah.
Um yeah. And the also the sort of things like the decision on like camera movements and stuff, we decided that the men's were going to be quite static and straight lines, and it was almost like a western, like a
Yeah.
showdown. And then the women's, you'll notice we move around them, and it was very much like the trope of like witches around a cauldron, but also like how women just get together. And like, you know, when women go off to the toilet together on a night out and things like that, and it was all
Yeah,
very cohesive and all moving together. So they were like intentional choices as well.
cool. Super, super. Yeah, I don't have any more questions. Does anyone else have any more? Oh, what's this one here? New. Home is where the heart is. Oh, okay. Yeah, Louise thinks you have fantastic taste. So well played, top lady over there. Yeah. I'm just going to say congratulations again, really, because the audience have responded to this film in a really strong way, both screenings, you know. And I was looking forward to this, and I was nervous about it as well. But I'm not nowhere near as much as you guys probably were, to be fair. But
Mm.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
was
I
just
hope. Sorry, go on.
Especially Josh.
yeah. I don't really like watching myself at the best of times. So watching myself do this thing, they're not once but twice today, has been.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was to you, Josh. To be fair, you know, I mean, yeah, I understand that, but yeah, really, really good, and you know, the performances were good. It was well staged. Your choices, you know, to do it in those sections, and the conversations, you know, and it's been great talking to you. And you know, hopefully, we'll get some good feedback. And but as I say, this seems to be an audience favorite. Like I say, not an enjoyable piece,
Mm.
but its audience have really responded to this, as you've seen. You know, so congratulations to all of you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. And thanks everybody for watching. And after the festival run, it will be available um on a platform coming soon. So you can share it, and we'll do that with trigger warnings, and people can have good
Yeah.
conversations and try and fix things. Not that we
Absolutely.
make films to save the world or anything, eh, Chris?
No.
Oh wait, we do.
But it is good to make films like we've watched films have been around 100 years, and we can still make films that make us stop and think, you know, like not just escape, but
Mhm.
stop and go, yeah, you know, that's right in front of our faces, and we're still not acknowledging it until we watch a film like yours. So, you know, well played.
Thank you.
Round of applause, actual round of applause, not just a virtual one. Well played. Yeah, it's nearly midnight. I'll let you all go, but thank you to the audience, and thank you to the filmmakers and the actors and everybody else involved. Yeah, excellent way to end the first day of the festival.
Thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of the festival, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye bye.